then I'ma rob him,
That's
or kill him, or some shit like that, or set him up, or something like that.
That's a yeah.
Chief Keef's name isn't just respected, it's avoided. The moment Sosa comes up, even the hardest rappers go quiet. And there's a reason, one that traces back to real fear, real history, and real consequences. And today, I'll break down why Chief Keef is the one rapper nobody wants to cross. The origin of fear. Even before he blew up, Chief Keef was a force of nature. Growing up in Chicago, he was surrounded by violence, gangs, and chaos, environments that shaped him into a young man who was unafraid to take risks and confront danger head-on. Unlike most rappers who come from similar backgrounds, Keef never left the streets behind.
But most artists are very afraid of Chief Keef.
We ain't most artists. We just be cool. We focus on our money.
But most people would never ever do that. You understand that, right? Even go into the hood and you know.
Man, hoods everywhere. Trappers everywhere.
Bandos everywhere.
Guns everywhere.
As he rose to fame, the energy he carried with him was not manufactured. It was real, raw, and dangerous. Every move he made, every song he dropped was watched and analyzed, not just by fans, but by rivals, by enemies, by everyone who understood the streets. This was a young man who had experienced loss, conflict, and betrayal, and yet somehow rose above it all to become a cultural icon and a figure of fear. The first thing that makes Chief Keef so intimidating is the legacy of his early years. By the time he was 16, he had already become the face of Chicago drill music. But more than that, he represented an era of street credibility that most rappers could only talk about but never live through. His tracks carried an energy that told the world he wasn't playing games, that he was serious, and that he could handle anything thrown at him. The way he moved through the streets, the way he commanded loyalty, and the way his presence demanded respect all contributed to a reputation that only grew as he gained fame. In a city where survival often depended on who you knew and how feared you were, Chief Keef had both the connections and the fear factor down pat. Another major reason rappers fear him is the stories tied to his name, stories that have circulated for over a decade. From alleged conflicts with rival crews to incidents involving former associates, the tales paint a picture of a man who commands respect through his mere existence. Even though many of the stories have no legal backing, the streets don't care about court documents. They care about patterns, influence, and the consequences that have been observed. Names like Lil Jojo and Lay Capone continue to surface when people discuss the impact of Chief Keef, and while he may not have been directly involved, the perception that he carries weight in these situations is enough to instill fear in anyone considering crossing him. Reputation, especially in the world of drill, is everything, and Chief Keef's reputation is untouchable.
What's your relationship nowadays with guys like Chief Keef, Lil Durk?
I with everybody. I ain't got no bad blood with everybody. Shit.
Chief Keef's influence goes beyond Chicago. He has inspired a generation of rappers across the country, from Atlanta to New York to Los Angeles. Artists like Lil Durk, Polo G, G Herbo, and Youngboy have all either collaborated with him or acknowledged his impact on their music and style. Even artists outside the United States, like UK drill rappers, draw inspiration from his sound and his approach to the industry. This influence amplifies his fear factor, because it's not just about what he can do personally, it's about the network, loyalty, and cultural weight he carries. If Chief Keef gives attention, it can elevate careers. If he gives disdain or ignores someone, it can be career-altering. In a world where image and respect are everything, this kind of power is intoxicating and terrifying all at once. Unpredictable power. One of the more subtle reasons Chief Keef is feared is his unpredictability. He doesn't respond to challenges in predictable ways. He doesn't argue publicly. He doesn't need to post threats online, and he doesn't run to the media to air disputes. Instead, he operates on his own terms, often letting his actions speak louder than words. This unpredictability makes it impossible for other rappers to strategize against him or to anticipate his moves. When someone doesn't follow the rules of engagement, when someone doesn't play the expected games, it creates a sense of anxiety. And in this game, anxiety can be dangerous. People fear what they cannot predict, and Chief Keef has mastered that.
Sosa started blowing up. Did that kind of change the whole area?
Yeah, I was around when Sosa was blowing up. But When he blew up, man, that bitch was...
Loyalty is another cornerstone of why Chief Keef inspires fear. The people around him, from longtime friends to associates in the industry, understand that being close to him requires complete dedication. His crew is fiercely loyal, not because of threats alone, but because of the respect and authority he commands. He has cultivated an environment where loyalty is a currency, and disloyalty comes at a cost, sometimes visible, sometimes implied, but always understood. Rappers who are aware of this dynamic recognize that crossing him is not just a matter of losing face, it's a matter of navigating a network that doesn't forgive lightly.
Nigga, you ain't cooking shit. Say that you trapping, doing show, you ain't booking shit. Nigga, you ain't selling out shit.
Chief Keef's presence has shifted how the industry operates. Artists who might have otherwise been rivals or indifferent to him now approach situations with caution. Social media posts are measured carefully, collaborations are considered strategically, and affiliations are scrutinized through the lens of how they might affect relations with Sosa. Even when he isn't directly involved in disputes, his name alone can sway decisions, alliances, and fan perceptions. The subtle control he exerts without overtly asserting it is a testament to his lasting influence and the fear he instills simply by existing at the center of his network. What do you think? Are rappers right to fear Chief Keef or just cautious? Comment below and don't forget to subscribe. A decade of dominance. Another layer to this fear comes from Chief Keef's longevity. Many rappers experience fleeting fame, and their reputations fade with time. Chief Keef, however, has maintained relevance, respect, and notoriety for more than a decade. Every year, as new artists emerge and trends evolve, his influence continues to be felt. Modern rappers know that while they may dominate the charts today, Chief Keef's shadow looms over the entire industry, reminding them that street credibility and cultural influence often outlast temporary commercial success.
Before Sosa, it was like, if you ain't have no sports dream, you ain't really have nothing. You ain't never seen success or nothing, bro. Unless you was like related to one of the rappers who did blow up, like you was R. Kelly nephew or something like, or some shit like that, or you was Twista cousin or Bump J brother or something like.
His musical approach also reinforces the fear. Drill music, with its raw depiction of street life, wasn't created to glorify violence arbitrarily. Chief Keef's lyrics reflected experiences, environments, and threats that were real. This authenticity made his music resonate deeply with listeners who understood the stakes, but it also made other artists cautious. When he references situations, it carries weight because his credibility isn't in question. The entire narrative around him is backed by the knowledge that he has lived through what he raps about, and that authenticity commands attention and respect.
Dirk and them started doing they want to. We kind of left the ops in the dust. I ain't even gonna lie, like they was getting left behind. They ain't have the money.
Chief Keef's control of his own narrative is another factor that keeps rappers wary. Unlike other artists who might rely heavily on labels or media coverage, Keef has managed to retain autonomy over his music, releases, and public persona. This independence allows him to operate without external influence, making him harder to predict, influence, or manipulate. For other artists who rely on collaborations, labels, or media attention, this kind of independence is intimidating. It shows that Keef doesn't have to conform to industry norms to maintain relevance or influence, and that unpredictability adds another layer of fear.
I think it was racially driven, bro.
No, everybody knows, and I talk facts. This came out in the Vlad interview. Chief Keef, team, the GBE.
The network he's built over the years also contributes to his aura. Chief Keef has an extended circle of loyal supporters, collaborators, and proteges who amplify his reach and enforce his influence indirectly. Many of these individuals operate quietly, without public acknowledgement, but their loyalty is understood. The presence of this network means that actions against Chief Keef are rarely isolated incidents. Any perceived slight or disrespect has the potential to ripple through the network, creating consequences that are both subtle and overt. This systemic loyalty magnifies the fear factor because rappers understand that crossing him could have effects far beyond their immediate circle. History never dies. And then, the fact that rappers are cautious around Chief Keef is the precedent set by past conflicts and allegiances. In the early years, his feuds with other artists and crews were highly visible and often violent. Even though some of these situations have long since passed, the memory lingers. Rappers who are aware of the history understand that Keef's reputation is backed by real-world consequences. The perception of potential retribution, even years later, influences behavior in ways that reinforce fear. This historical weight gives Chief Keef a power that transcends current events and elevates him above temporary trends or rivalries.
It was another thing we was doing.
You had Soulja Boy like with some shit.
No, that was Lil B. Chief Keef was coming up at that time period.
Dang.
He really changed that.
Chief Keef's influence on younger generations of rappers further enhances the fear. Artists coming up today view him as a blueprint for both success and survival. They recognize that his rise was not just about talent, but also about understanding the dynamics of fear, respect, and loyalty. By setting this standard early, Chief Keef has created an environment where fear is embedded into the culture of drill and street rap. Young artists internalize these lessons, consciously or unconsciously, and adjust their behavior to avoid potential conflict. The result is a self-reinforcing cycle where fear is passed from one generation to the next, solidifying Keef's status as untouchable. Rappers who try to imitate Chief Keef often realize quickly that replication without authenticity falls flat and can even be dangerous. The streets and the industry both recognize when someone is trying to act like Keef without having lived his experiences. Attempts to mimic his style, approach, or behavior often lead to scrutiny and skepticism, which reinforces the notion that Chief Keef is in a league of his own. This unique combination of authenticity, influence, and unpredictability makes him someone whose reputation cannot be easily challenged, further embedding fear in the culture.
Like the streets and everything that came with that, it had me in like a whole, especially in Chicago. So when I moved to LA, I kind of like started getting better.
Another dimension of fear comes from the way Chief Keef navigates fame and wealth. While many artists flaunt their status to provoke envy or competition, Keef often maintains a low profile outside his music. This calculated restraint creates a sense of mystique, making him less predictable and more respected. Other rappers, constantly in the public eye, are more vulnerable to criticism, attacks, or missteps. Keef's ability to remain enigmatic while still dominating the conversation adds another layer to why the industry respects and fears him. The Sosa effect. Finally, Chief Keef's legacy is cemented by the influence he has over both the music industry and the culture at large. Rappers today are aware that their actions, words, and affiliations are scrutinized through the lens of his legacy. Decisions about collaborations, public statements, and social media activity are made with consideration of how they might affect relationships with him or his affiliates. The fear is not just personal, it's professional, cultural, and systemic. Chief Keef has created a reality where respect is mandatory, alliances matter, and missteps can carry consequences far beyond what most artists are prepared to handle. So, when you look at why rappers today are scared of Chief Keef, it's clear that it's not about one single incident, one track, or one feud. It's about decades of reputation, influence, unpredictability, loyalty, and authenticity. It's about surviving, thriving, and commanding respect in a world that is quick to judge and quick to punish. Chief Keef embodies a power that transcends music, reaching into culture, the streets, and the psyche of every artist who understands what it means to exist in his orbit.
So all that when motherfucker was saying like Sosa banned from the rack and all that shit. Like,
no, he was focused. My shorty had real little legal drama and shit going on, but we just sent our people to go holler at the mayor
Rappers fear Chief Keef because he is untouchable, unpredictable, and undeniably influential. They respect him because his legacy is cemented in real-world experience and cultural impact. They move carefully because his reach extends beyond himself, into the network, the history, and the generations of artists who have been shaped by him. He has survived challenges, conflicts, and controversies that would have ended most careers, and he has done so while maintaining authenticity and control over his narrative. His presence is a constant reminder that power in the rap game is as much about fear, respect, and influence as it is about talent.
What we doing? On the ground, on the floor. Someone pick them up, please. Take them to the ball. What we doing,
So the next time you hear Chief Keef's name, understand why even the hardest, most confident rappers pause, calculate, and respect the space he occupies. It's not about personal beef, not about trends, not about social media presence. It's about legacy, influence, unpredictability, loyalty, and survival. Chief Keef has created a world where being feared is not just optional, it's the foundation of his influence. Rappers navigate this reality daily, making choices that prioritize respect and survival over ego and bravado. What do you think? Are rappers right to be cautious around Chief Keef, or is it simply a product of perception and history? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the biggest names in hip-hop. Until next time, stay aware, stay safe, and remember that in this game, reputation and influence can speak louder than words. So now you understand why rappers tread carefully around Sosa. What do you think is the key to his influence? fear, loyalty, or legacy? Drop your thoughts, smash that like button, and subscribe because there's always more to uncover.